Good morning and welcome to our live coverage of 2024 US presidential election. Tonight, millions of Americans are casting their ballots with high stakes for the future of the country. Polls are open across all time zones and we are closely monitoring voter turnout, state by state tallies and early projections. As we approach the final hour of voting in some of the key swing areas, the excitement and tensions is mounting. The early numbers suggest that turnout is high, reflecting the intense public interest in the race. Let's look at our special coverage.
Polls are now open in over 40 states and the District of Columbia, including 6 key battleground states likely to decide the election: North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona. As Americans head to the polls to choose their next president, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump each need at least 270 electoral votes to win. The outcomes in battleground states like Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin will be critical to their paths to victory. Stay tuned as the results start coming in.
Long queues as people arrive at North Carolina polling stations. A steady line of voters has formed outside the Loyal Order of the Moose Lodge in Wilmington, North Carolina, where the polling stations opened promptly. We are seeing strong turnouts in states like North Carolina, where both candidates have heavily focused their campaigns. North Carolina had already surpassed its early voting record in set 2020. Meanwhile, in Lawrenceville, Georgia, people gathered early Tuesday morning at the Gwinnett County Voters Registration and Election Office to submit their absentee ballots in person. The location also serves as the check-in point for polls watchers to obtain their credentials. Your vote is your voice, say Kamala Harris as polling opens in multiple states. As the voting begins in multiple US states, President Joe Biden urged voters to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris and stated, "Let's make history by electing Kamala Harris." Biden shared a post on X and wrote, "Go vote. Let's make history by electing Kamala Harris." In her post, Kamala Harris said, "Election day is here. Today we vote because we love our country and we believe in the promise of America. Make your voice heard." In the last post, Donald Trump said, "Tomorrow is our last chance to defeat the corrupt establishment. Get out and vote." According to Millennium sources, polls have opened across more than 25 states, including Alabama. Some polls observe Eastern Time and opened at 7 a.m. European Time. However, most polls operate in Central Time and opened at 8 a.m. European Time. Delaware, Washington, D.C., Florida at the time 8 a.m. European Time. Georgia, Illinois, Kansas opened at 8 a.m. Maryland, Massachusetts, cities or towns can choose to open as early as 6 European Time. Michigan, again, opened at 8 a.m. Missouri, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, all these polling places opened at 7 a.m. European Time today. Voters in Connecticut, Indiana, Kentucky, Maine, New Jersey, New York, and Virginia can now head to polling station to cast their ballots. Let's take a small break, but stay with us. We'll be right back with more live updates and in-depth analysis of the election results. Don't go anywhere. The day is just getting started and there's plenty more to come.
Millennium Day News is a global news network dedicated to providing high-quality coverage across a wide range of topics, including local, regional, national, and international issues. Operating 24/7, the network emphasizes inclusivity, offering a platform for diverse voices and covering essential subjects such as arts, culture, religion, education, and legal advice. Based in New York City, Millennium Day News connects communities worldwide through engaging programming that includes political discussions, sports news, health segments, and entertainment features. To ensure accessibility, viewers can access content via mobile apps, iOS and Android, Internet Smart TVs, and streaming services like Roku and Amazon Fire, as well as through IPTV and satellite networks. For more information and updates, visit their websites millenniumnews24.com and millenniumtv24.com or follow them on social media and YouTube under Millennium News 24. As they continue to expand, viewers can look forward to a broader array of news programs that reflect the diversity of the global community. Whether you're interested in current events or cultural discussions, Millennium Day News is dedicated to keeping you informed and connected.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again as we continue our live coverage of 2024 US presidential election. The results are rolling in and we are here to bring you the latest updates, insight and analysis as the race unfolds. Let's dive back and see where things stand. United States will soon choose its 47th president between Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and Republican nominee Donald Trump, even as opinion polls have predicted a deadlock to the tight race. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have entered the final stretch and are running a tight neck-to-neck race to the White House in what is being called the closest race in history. High stakes for 2024 US presidential election. Harris aiming to become the first woman and first person of Indian descent to lead the country. On the other side, we have Trump seeking a historic comeback to the Oval Office, could become the first president in over a century to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. After his 2020 loss to Joe Biden, Trump has continued to contest those results, a stance that has kept his base engaged and led to deep national divisions. With both candidates making their final appeals, voters are turning out in record numbers, setting the stage for an election that shapes the nation in the future. As voting continues in the 2024 US elections, US Treasury and dollar have seen a downturn. According to Millennium sources, the yield on 10 years Treasury increased by 3 basis points to 4.31%, pulling back from a 3-month high reached level last week. The market is experiencing volatility due to the closely contested race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Chris Turner, head of FX strategy at ING, noted, with an exceptionally close US election upon us, the outcome likely to deliver a binary impact on currency market. Only a red sweep outcome can probably add to the dollar upside. As the United States head to the poll to elect its next Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are both vying for at least 270 electoral votes to secure victory. Key battleground states such as Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin are poised to play a crucial role in determining the outcomes. In a final push, both candidates held their last campaign events in these critical states. Kamala Harris wrapped up her 107 days campaign with a rally in Pennsylvania, while Donald Trump delivered his closing remarks in Michigan, a state where he has concluded 3 of his Pennsylvania presidential campaigns. Current news updates suggest that polling has commenced in more than 20 states across the US, Polling opens in Texas, Wisconsin. Over half of 50 states are now voting. Live counting. News updates report says that the first ballot for the 2024 US presidential election was cast in New Hampshire. Harris and Trump tied with 3 votes each in the tiny New Hampshire community of Dixwell Notch. With more polls opening, voting is underway in over half of 50 US states, including the key swing state of Wisconsin. The states beginning ballots include Alabama, Iowa, Kansas, with flexibility by county, Minnesota, Mississippi, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, and Wisconsin, which holds up to 10 electoral votes that could be pivotal in the outcome. More than 74 million votes have already been cast nationwide, almost half of the total number of votes cast in 2020, in the form of mail-in ballots or early in-person voting. In the national polling average as of Sunday, Harris enjoyed a slight edge over Trump. Here's a list of states where polls have just opened. Alabama at 7 a.m. European time, Delaware, Washington, D.C., Florida, Central Time opened at 8 a.m. European time, Georgia, Illinois, Kansas. Polls open at 8 a.m. due to time zone variations, Maryland, Massachusetts. Polls opened at 6 a.m. today. Michigan's polls opened at 8 a.m. today, along with Missouri, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee. These polling places are already open today, 7 a.m. European time. The atmosphere is tense as both parties closely monitor the result, hoping to secure victory. Throughout the night, throughout the day, we'll bring you latest updates, expert analysis, and on-the-ground reporting as we witness democracy in action. Stay with us as we keep a close eye on every development. We will be back soon after a short break. Keep watching Millennium News 24. Thank you.